Hi, welcome to Golden Years. I'm Lori Betts. This month, my guest is Sandy Hinkle from Feeding Medina County. So come on back and we're going to tell you what's going on with them.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit.
I get it. I can do better. Just please don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
We need a claim number?
When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving. We're here to help.
Welcome back to Golden Years. I'm Lori Betts, and I'm interviewing Sandy Hinkle from Feeding Medina County. And man, that is a busy organization, wonderful organization. You have all the food, and you take care of so many people. So that is just awesome. And how long have you been with the organization, Sandy?
Well, I've been there a little bit over a year and a half. I replaced Sandy Calvert, who was the initial executive director when it first started.
And I believe one of my first shows was at Medina County Fair, and we did interview
Commissioner Geis.
Yes, and they had the new Feeding Medina truck, and that was exciting to see.
Right.
And then I believe you just redid your building?
Well, we didn't just redo our building. We actually were the recipients of Leadership Medina County, class of 2016.
Great program.
And a group of them called themselves Fist to Five, and there were 9 of them. And they took on the project. I made a pitch about how inadequate our office space was, which was terrible to say the least. We're in this big building that has a warehouse and a sorting room where we get food in, and our office space consisted of 3 desks against the wall with 2 outlets and a big table where everybody and their brother walked in, the volunteers, people that might have come in off the streets. Our board meetings were held there. So it was a constant buzz of activity. We kept blowing fuses if you plug something in, and with 3 computers running. So Leadership Medina County took this on as a project and redid the office space, and it is unbelievable.
Because you have so much activity going on. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of programs that you do weekly, mm-hmm. monthly. So tell me a little bit about the program.
Okay. Well, Feeding Medina County, did start as the brainchild of Commissioner Pat Geisman, and it was about 5-6 years ago when they initially started, and the hope at that time was to feed seniors. Commissioner Geisman realized that she had seniors and constituents that were having to choose between buying medicine and buying food. So that's kind of the brainchild of where it started, helping these people and packing maybe for about 50 seniors. And then they went into packing bags for children who were struggled in school with food insecurity as well. They had a need for food to get them through the weekend. So that was pretty much the beginning of it. So I'm going to fast forward to where we are today in 2016. And today we continue to pack for this program called Staples for Seniors. And only now we pack for almost 400 seniors across our county in 9 different facilities. And they're generally metropolitan housing, HUD housing, low income. So we know that these people are probably food insecure because of their income levels. And we provide them with about 30 pounds of food every month. And it's kind of interesting how all that happens. Our children, Weekenders for Children program, which is it's an elementary school program, is open to any elementary school across Medina County, and it services children on free and reduced meals. And what started off with 100 children, we now pack almost 800 bags, and we pack those bags every single week. And they're called the Weekender bag. And it's, you might see children walking home with a white bag on Fridays, and in that bag is about 7.5 to 8 pounds of food. And really what it is it's about 3 meals and some snacks to get them through the weekend. so that when these children come back to school, because be mindful that they're getting breakfast and they're getting lunch through the week.
And nutritious food.
Yes, in the bag, yes. In our bag, we really try to focus on providing them at least a high protein item. They always get a staple of soup and a vegetable. That's always in the bag. And then we alternate, we change the menu every week, and it could be a big box of cereal with fruit juice and fresh fruit and snack items and maybe some macaroni and cheese to make another meal. So the menu varies every week, but always has a protein item in it, always has soup, always has vegetable. And I do want to say that people, corporates might be interested in taking a look how they could sponsor an item. When you're putting one item in a bag and that item is peanut butter and you need 800 jars just for one item out of several in that bag, the price tag is huge. And by the way, we purchase 100% of the food for the children.
Okay, that being said, I want to ask you, what kind of collaboration do you have in the county? Do you approach the grocery stores, the vendors? How do you?
Well, first of all, I want to say that thank you to United Way, because they provide $20,000 a year for the Weekenders program. And actually this year they've stepped up to the plate to make up a deficit that we were getting money from another source that actually said that they could no longer provide that. So United Way has filled that gap of about.
So you're under their umbrella?
Well, we're recipients. We're a grant
okay.
recipient through their child poverty. So that's how we secure funds from United Way. When we take a look at where do we get our food, we get it from a number of places. We are a member of Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank, and we can purchase food through them. We do purchase food.
So, wait, I don't want to cut you off, but then you are separate from the food bank.
We
You're
are
two different entities.
Yes.
Okay.
In the state of Ohio, there are 12 food banks, and they're connected to the federal, to the National Food Bank
And they
Association.
get funded by the federal.
And they get funded through federal and state block grants, and that gets divvied up with the 12. They, in turn, buy their food, and then pantries purchase from them. We do purchase. Now, I will tell you that Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank does a free food distribution, which we coordinate that once a month at the fair in Medina County Fairgrounds, and they provide all the food for that. They bring a semi-truck about 6 o'clock in the morning, third Thursday of every month, in case anybody's interested in volunteering, because anybody can walk in and help us. That semi-truck has about 20,000 pounds of food on it, and our job is to unload it, to stage it on tables, set it out, repack it. It could come in bulks of 100-pound boxes, and we have to repack it in bags and get it ready. The doors open at 7:30, and we'll feed about 200 families, which could equate to about 600 or 700 people that we're servicing, just at that one food distribution. So Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank does provide that, and much of that is the USDA government surplus food that they in turn get, and then they pass down to the local pantries, us being one of them. So, so that's our affiliation with them. I have to say that places such as Aldi's are very generous to us, extremely generous. They many times, anytime we see something on sale in their store, we can contact them, and they're very willing to sell us 2, 3, 4 pallets, because we don't buy in box loads, we buy in pallets.
You'd have to.
Yeah. So, so Aldi's is very generous, and many times if they're getting things that could be frozen meat that's close to an expiration date, but it's very good because it's frozen, but they can't sell it, they oftentimes turn around and give that to us. We in turn can turn around and give that to the seniors who, by the way, meat is such a high commodity item, cost item for us, but it's also an item that seniors really, really do value getting, because that's a cost factor for them to be able to buy meat. So Aldi's is the place. We will shop at Buehler's. We will occasionally shop at Giant Eagle if we see a sale, and they will work with us to provide us, because again, keep in mind that they only order so much for their store. So
right. So you don't go in as a shopper.
No,
you just
no,
go
we
in and
just
you
go
talk
directly
to maybe
them and say,
store manager.
We've seen this item on sale. We'd like to order 3 pallets. And
that's awesome. And they'll sell you that sale price as
Sometimes,
That
and therein lies the
Varies.
magic and the trick of trying to make that work. A real good example was last year, about midsummer, Bueller's had pudding on sale, and the pudding was a very reasonable price with 4 in a pack. So the nice thing about pudding is that it has 30% calcium in it. So when we're thinking about packing nutritiously for children, we're always looking for those nutritious buys. You know, something, people don't typically pay attention to those kinds of things, but we do. We're always on the alert. So we were able to purchase, I think, about 4 pallets of pudding, which we are just now coming to the end. So that pudding lasted us, and maybe it was a $5,000 ticket item, but it lasted us throughout the school year. And we repack it two to a package and things like that.
So let me just say this, don't want to cut you off, but like $1, if I hand you $1, you're going to buy a lot more than that dollar than me
Yeah.
bringing you the food.
Yeah. But I never want to discourage you from doing a food drive either, because a lot of places do food drives for us. And if they go to our website, they can see a list of preferred items that we want for children, especially like canned fruit cups and peanut butter. And peanut butter, we can't take anything in glass jars for children. So the peanut butter has to be, typically we say 15 to 18 ounces, plastic jar. Jelly has to be squeezable plastic because, again, we can't give glass to the children. So we certainly can't give, I know people think more is better, but the big jar of peanut butter is not going to go for a child, and it's typically not going to go out to the seniors either. So, but when people do food drives for us, if it matches us for the children, it always gets stocked on our shelves for children, so, and earmarked. And I do want to say that oftentimes we're blessed with people who come forward and say, I'd like to do this. And most recently, Dr. Kelly Parker, who's a veterinarian on Smith Road in Medina, came to us and said she wanted fresh fruit is an issue, trying to purchase that because it's a very high cost item. And
the seniors love
the seniors
fresh
love it,
fruit.
and the children love it. But for me to put 2 apples in every bag for a child, I'm needing 1,600 apples, or 1,600 oranges. So Dr. Kelly Parker came forward and said, once a month I will purchase fresh fruit for the kids. And so we've been able to give apples, oranges,
that's
and today,
awesome.
actually, we're packing today as I speak, because we pack on Wednesdays and Thursdays for kids, and they are getting bananas today. So, there's different ways that people can help us. Money is wonderful. Money allows us to turn around and have that buying power.
Okay, share with my viewers what wonderful check was just handed to you. What collaboration happened in Brunswick?
We have for the past 3 years been a recipient from Brunswick Subaru as the Share the Love campaign local recipient. And if you're not familiar with that campaign, it starts in November and ends in January. And for that 2-month block, what Subaru does, National Subaru chooses 5 national charities across, it could be Make-A-Wish or National Forestry, National SPCA. But then when it comes to the local chapters, they can choose a local charity. And I have to say that Mike LaGuardia, who's the sales manager out at the Subaru here in Brunswick, has chosen Feeding Medina County for the last 3 years.
That's awesome.
As a recipient of that. And over the past, actually last Monday, we went and picked up our check. The National Corporation was there, and they presented us with a check of over $46,000, which is just unbelievable when it comes to allowing us to be able to buy the things we need. It's those kinds of things that just, and that, trust me, that doesn't happen. I mean, that's a rarity.
That's a rarity.
That actually was the largest donation we've ever received from anyone. And this is the 3rd year that Brunswick Subaru has done this. So, I mean, their donations over the past 3 years have equated to almost $100,000, which is just
awesome.
Just amazing.
Awesome.
Yes.
And we're going to take a quick break. And while the break is happening, you are going to view the presentation of the check that they are handing Sandy, which is kudos. That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
So come on back, and then we're going to hear a little bit more about Feeding Medina County.
Okay, Sandy, on behalf of Brunswick Auto Mart, Brunswick Subaru, Subaru of America, we'd like to present you with this check to Feeding Medina County The Pantex also would like to thank you again, and they're proud sponsors of Feeding Medina County as well.
I can't see it. I knew what the amount was. This is unbelievable. I don't think Subaru has any idea of the impact that this has on Medina County. The children, the elderly that we service, the 10,000 families a year we service, the ton of food that we pick up for other food pantries. This is just amazing. You guys are terrific. You guys are just super. And super. Subaru is super. And
So much.
Thank you. I can't say thank you enough.
You're welcome. Yeah, this is now our third year actually with Feeding Medina County.
Yeah.
I think we've raised close to $100,000 over the past 3 years. So it's a very important charity for us, and you know, hunger is just not at the holidays; it's all year round. So for us to be able to give back to the community, that's what it's all about for us here at Brunswick Subaru.
Hi, I'm Ed Zachary with Medina County Veterans Service Office. And if you're a veteran and you're in a crisis, or worse yet, contemplating suicide, I want you to pick up the phone and call the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Do it now.
Welcome back to Golden Years. I am interviewing Sandy Hinkle from Feeding Medina County, and that is a busy nonprofit organization. You're making me tired. So tell me, Sandy, what other programs, you're telling me with the delivery of the kids, the weekenders,
Right.
for the seniors, what else goes on behind that scene?
Okay. Well, and just so you know too, the fact that we are packing the food, we buy it, we pack it, we make sure that it's all taken, you know, we get the count from the schools every week, how many kids, and same way with the senior centers. All of that is driven by volunteers. We have volunteers who come from around the county to pick up this food for each school district, each senior center, and then take it out and deliver it. So that's a huge thing too.
Oh, yeah,
Our volunteer
definitely.
base is just astronomical. You know, and it could be, again, somebody local, 2 minute in a truck right here in Brunswick, you know, pick up for one of our biggest senior centers here in town. So there's all of these things that go on. And the reason I talk about volunteer base is because everything we do, such as we have a community garden, which planting day is June 4th. It's a Saturday. So again, it's an open invitation for anyone that wants to come and help plant. All of the plants are grown and donated. We have master gardeners from Ohio State Extension who volunteer their time. Ron Maitland, who kind of is our head garden coordinator, who comes out and kind of helps get everything ready. And our planting day, as I said, happens, and then the garden is tended to and taken care of by people who just come in and out all summer long and take care of the garden. They weed, they water, they pick. All of that food in turn goes back to free produce distributions, which happen on Wednesdays from May to October. And the first one actually is tonight out in Wadsworth. And people can go to our website again and find out information on all of these locations and where they can go get food if they need food. So anything that we reap in the garden comes back, and it either goes out to these free food distributions or it goes to our seniors. And by the way, Chickmaster donates that land. Chickmaster's building is next to us, and there's this plot of land.
Oh, yeah.
And they donate that every year to us so that we can use that for the garden space. So
that's awesome.
It's the way the community works together. So the community garden is one. Mary Baker from the Medina County Library, District Library, about 3 years ago started a program, No Produce Left Behind, and it's grown to become a huge, huge thing where Mary will start putting out information for people, and as will all the libraries in Medina County, asking people to grow a little bit extra in their garden, bring it to their libraries. We will collect that, and then in turn that will go out for these Wednesday distributions to families, which, by the way, we serve probably about 400 families in these distributions across the county. If we have, or if it comes to us at a time that we have senior distribution, it'll go out to our senior homes too.
Do you deliver to the senior homes? Or just
we
plain
don't
eat?
deliver to anybody. Again, we have to have people who are volunteers.
Correct, the volunteers, but the volunteers will go to the homebound senior.
That's where they take the Staples for Seniors program. Once a month, we pack for seniors.
Okay.
And I don't know if I was clear on that, but we pack for children every week, once a month. The third Friday of every month, we pack for seniors, and we have 9 senior homes we service with 400 seniors. And each of those seniors gets about 30 pounds of food, meat, produce, canned goods, fresh vegetables,
wonderful.
grown out of our garden or any place that we can acquire anything from. So they get, making sure that they have food to eat, because we know that that's a huge issue for our senior population, having to choose between, do I buy medicine or do I buy food?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Now, how does the senior find that? Is it run by an application or the
well,
office
we
for
know
older-
it's strictly for people who live in low-income metropolitan HUD housing, because we know that they qualify food-wise. They're probably not making very much money. They're probably not having very much money left over. And by the way, the average amount of food stamps are pretty much across the board that our senior citizens get is $16 a month. So what we give them is a huge, huge support to them getting through the month and being able to make choices to buy other things that they need. So,
And like you said, the medicine. I mean, that's...
I mean, just the same way with Weekenders for Children, it's geared at children who are on free and reduced meals. So one of the other programs, or one of the other things we do, is we have this amazing box refrigerated truck, which was purchased through the generosity of donations across the county 2 years ago. And it goes twice a week to Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank, and it picks up for 23 other pantries in our county. And these 23 other pantries have their own way of distributing food. It could be once a week, it could be once a month, it could be twice a month. It's up to them. And most of them are churches. It could be your church, it could be my church. As a matter of fact, my church does participate. So any church that is a member of Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank, or any community service, such as here, the Brunswick Food Pantry, they're one of the people that we pick their food up. So twice a week, our truck goes down to Akron-Canton, picks up food orders for 23 pantries. We deliver, and the whole purpose is, if people need food, we want people to have the food they need across the county. This is not just about serving the children and serving the seniors. It's about serving everyone who's food insecure in our county. And so we want to make sure that that happens, and we do by doing the food transit. And it's free. There is no cost. We don't charge people for this. To give you some idea, last year in 2015, we picked up a half a ton of food for these food pantries across the county. So, and then you figure we get once a month 20,000 pounds of food that comes in on a truck that we give free at the fairgrounds once a month, the third Thursday of every month. And again, open to anyone in the county who qualifies because of their income. And that could be that they could be 200% below the poverty level to 130% below the poverty level. So there's a scale, a financial scale, and nobody has to show that income. They come in, they fill out a form, and then they go through and they get their food. The same way with our 3 Wednesday distributions as well. So there's always something going on in our office. There's never any downtime. And another reason why we depend on volunteers, because everything, even our truck drivers are volunteer. So we always send 2 people down on that truck every week. And now that we have Wednesday, we'll be going down to Akron-Canton 3 times a week. So that means I need 6 drivers every week, and it's just an ongoing thing.
And do you have many volunteers?
I'd say that we probably, last year we clocked about 8,000 volunteer hours. And
That's a lot of hours.
We probably have a total of 300 plus volunteers, people that are
that's
pretty
awesome.
constant. Because at the fairgrounds, we generally have 50 to 60 volunteers. At these distribution sites on Wednesdays, we'll probably have 10 to 15 volunteers, 2 drivers twice a week on the truck. We have 14 people that pack twice a week for children each day. And then when we pack for seniors, the same, so. So the need for volunteers, and we're always looking for people who want to do office work, you know, because there's all that goes on as
I'm
well.
sure, really.
We have our gala that we just finished, it was March 12th, and that's a huge undertaking, which needs a lot of hands to get it done, because there's myself and 2 other employees, and trust me, we keep pretty busy every day, so so we depend
You
on
have
volunteers.
just so many things going on.
Yes.
And what about another big fundraiser you have in August?
Yes. Well, we do have Pizza Palooza on the square in Medina, June 11th, and that's a great day. June 4th is our planting day, by the way. I'm giving a plug for that, because if you want to just come out and plant and help us that day, and throughout the summer, that's a great experience to kind of see where we are and what we do. But we have Season's Harvest, which is ran by the Medina County Farm Bureau. And this is, if you have never been, I will tell you, it is the event of the year.
I've heard good reports about that
Last
event.
year, it rotates farms across Medina County. And last year, we were at Barry's Blooms. And we had dinner served by John Kohler, Chef John Kohler from Time, who brings his entire staff and cooks a 5-course meal. And it is all farm to table, so it's all local meat and produce, and then it's paired with a wine, different wine in between each course, which again is all local wines. And it's served, as you can see here, on fine linen tablecloths and fine china. And they do this out in the middle of a field. Last year we were in the middle of 10 acres of sunflowers. This year we're going to be out at Buchan, Ohio, which is right off of Route 71 and 83. And it's a rodeo place, and if you've never been out there, it is something to see too. So we're real excited about that. And the Farm Bureau is another wonderful partner. We have so many people in our community. Sandwich Foods, Aldi's.
Sandwich is good, yes.
Drug Mart does a golf outing for us every year. I mean, there's just a number of ways that the money comes in. We are totally driven by the donations that come in our door. The $20,000 that we get from the United Way is right now the only funding that we have. We do have a CareSource grant, which is about $6,000. But and by the way, the United Way money is earmarked for kids, so it has to go to kids. The CareSource is earmarked for our seniors, so it has to go for seniors to buy fresh produce. And the Hands Foundation, the Senior Service Networking through the Hands Foundation, gave us a small grant, which we are now buying eggs for our seniors, so that they all have fresh eggs once a month.
That's awesome.
So
it sounds like you have a lot of good collaboration.
we do.
People are supporting
We
you.
do. It's amazing, the amount of people in our community, and I've always said that Medina County is a generous community,
Oh, it
number
is.
one, and Medina County takes care of their own people, and they do a wonderful job.
I have to agree with you.
And I'm very blessed to work there. I mean, people think we do good things, but you know, it really is. We get so much more. I was at Black River a couple weeks ago and saw the children getting their bags, because I try to make it around to some of the schools to see how watch the kids pick up their bags. And by the way, the schools all do it. We have 19 schools, they all do it different. So, you know, it's you know, I mean, they correspond with the parents differently on how this program's available, and they give out the bags differently, you know, because we always want to make sure it's discreet. And but to see those kids come and get those bags, and as soon as they left the office, they couldn't wait to open it and see what was inside. And we've had, you know, I mean, not too long ago, I did an interview with some children from Wadsworth, and, you know, they said it's like getting a Christmas present.
That's awesome.
So we know that through the generosity of the people in our county that we make a difference, and we're doing it in a way that nobody else is doing it. We really do service those that are the most vulnerable, the young and the old, and you know, the families in between, because we do service about 1,000 families every year. And I just want to say, you know, some of those families, there's about, I'm going to say about a fourth of those families that we service are families of vets. So that's a whole nother population
Yeah,
that
it is.
sometimes
Definitely.
we don't think about in being in need. So food insecurity, it's huge in our county. I know we think that we have an affluent county. 1 out of every 4 children are food insecure in Medina County. About 1 out of every 6 adults are food insecure, and about 1 out of every 12 seniors are. And that senior number is climbing, and will double as the boomers get older. So the need is huge. It's not gonna go away. I've been there a year and a half. We've added 4 new schools and 2 new senior centers.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Golden Years this month, and we'll see you next month.